Hello, my name is Yvette. Thanks for joining me on another Thursday of videos and tutorials. Today we will be painting a cherry blossom tree. Okay, so grab your paint and let's get started.
This is a painting that we're going to be working today. This is a cherry blossom, and this is a path, and this is like a little lake, and far away you can see some of the buildings of Manhattan, New York. For the sky, I'm going to be using white, then this pale blue, and a little bit of my black to make it this gray bluish. Then for the water, I'm going to be using again this pale blue, and then I have another blue that we can be playing with, that is my cobalt blue, and some of the white. Then for the for the path, I'm going to be mixing my white with my black. Then for the little part of the green grass, I have two greens. This is a phthalo green, and I have another green that is my yellowish green. Then also I'm going to be using a little touch of brown, and for the brown I have this burnt sienna, that the same brown we're going to be using in all the branches plus the black. Then for the leaves, for the flowers, I have this light magenta, I have this purple, and to change the color of the magenta I have my primary red. So yeah, basically this is the color that we're going to be using. For brushes, I have my flat one, that is 3/4. Then I have another flat to work the buildings in the background. I have two. One is like the smaller one, and the other one is medium, and is a half and number 8. So that's the flat one. Then the round ones, I have this number 3, just for the details of the little flowers and all the details that we're going to be doing with the, all the fence. Then I have my liner. Then I have this mop that is going to be for the background, for the sky, just to soften the sky. And I'm going to be using as well this fan brush. And also the last one is going to be my filbert, that is number 4. So far these are the brushes, and you know how it is when we're painting. Maybe one brush is going to tell me, grab me, me. Maybe another one is going to like disappear. Also, we're going to be using some Q-tips, okay? So grab some Q-tips, and what we're going to do is to wrap it with blue tape like this, just to have it ready. I wanna share with you how to use in all these little flowers. And also, I have my sea sponge, because the texture of the flowers, we can be playing with the two ways. We can be using Q-tips, or we can be using the sponge. So I want to show you both ways, like that you guys can decide which one it works better for you. In between, I'm going to be leaving my sponge in water. I have my big container of water. And good thing with acrylic is that you can use a lot of time the same water, and it works good. Okay, so let me put aside now the painting. I'm going to put it in front of me, and now I'm going to trace some lines with my HB mechanical pencil. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is to find the line, and let me share the picture here. You want to find your horizon line. Okay, so if this is all and my middle is here, I want to go a little lower of the middle. And to make a straight line, I like to flip my canvas and use my little pinky as my ruler. to make a straight line. Okay, so now I have my horizon line. Then you can even trace on, just to have the idea of some of the buildings. And it can be, see, I am using again my pinky, just some straight lines. Just to have an idea of where it's going to be, what is going to be happening all around. So then I have here a little curve, and then this is need to be like smaller. And what I'm going to be looking is this. Okay, I add this curve of the rails, then I need to add a second one, then a third, second, third, 4, 5. Okay, and if you see close to this edge, the curve is smaller. Then we have this part of the grass. And then in this part of the grass we have again a rail. Okay, then we have here a tree. You also use the finger as a ruler. When see, that's a really good way to use our fingers, right? Here we have like a lamp. Then we're going to define more, but this is like our sketch. Something like that. And here we have the first part of the trunk. That doesn't need to be like the trunk of this part of the branches, because this path has so many trees that this trunk can be one, and then, you know, the next branches can be part of the another tree. Something like this, and then all the branches. Okay, so I'm not going to be drawing the branches because we're going to be now painting the background, but this is the main idea. The part that is take longer is to be working this part of the fence, but we're going to be doing while we're going to be painting it. Okay, so let's prepare my background first. For that I'm going to be adding white. Okay, I'm going to have my flat brush and my mop brush. Okay, so I have here a little bit of the thinner just to slower the process of the drying, just one drop. We don't need more. And let me just mix it. Hope you guys are having a good time starting the week. I have a very good weekend. What about you guys? The black, I'm not going to use it now. So I'm going to start by wetting the tip of my brush, the flat one, and I'm going to add some of the white in the bottom. My lightest color is going to be close to the buildings, and it's okay if we paint in the top of the line that we already traced. I'm going to grab a little bit of the pale blue and I'm doing crosses. And now my cobalt blue. I'm going to grab a little bit of water with the tip of my brush. And I'm going to try to cover as much as I can the white of the canvas. Okay, I'm going to clean my brush again because I want to grab again white. And again I'm doing crosses. So now I'm going to change for my mop brush and I'm going to start in the white area doing tiny circles, and then I'm going to move to the light blue and then to the dark blue that is my cobalt blue. This is just our background because the original picture you can see that we have more like pinkish from the flowers than, you know, background. I have some bristles. Okay, I'm going to put my brush in the water, and now I wanna start painting the water. So we're going to be painting the skies, the buildings, but I wanna paint the water first. So I'm going to start by applying again my white. Then the light blue, and I want to grab water. And let me check on you. Oh, wow, banks are crazy, right? So here I'm going to go a little bit inside of this part, because if you see the original picture, and let me show you, you can see how here you cannot see the water, but here you start seeing the water. So I'm going to be painting this part, okay? A little bit of water. Light blue. Little bit of the cobalt blue, and I'm going to start making a little like movement, like rocking. This part need to be very like short movement, but I'm like doing this movement like this. Can you see this? Okay, this part need to be like darker, the edge. And I'm going to start separating the colors and the scent that I want to see in the background. And we're going to come back with the white as well. Just blue, no black, sorry. This part needs to be more dark. And I'm going to grab more white. Well, you know, when you are painting, you need to decide how, like, what is the most important part of your painting. If the most important part of your painting is the background, then you need to invest more time in the background. Now I'm going to change my brush for something smaller to make the waves even smaller. It's a flat one as well. And I'm like rocking. And if you notice, I am not even adding water because I want to have like a thick paint. Going to clean and grab a little bit again of my cobalt blue. And I'm still doing the rocking movement. Okay, when you feel you like the water,
it is time to solve the lines. You can use a mop brush or you can use a flat brush.
Okay, I have this flat brush. You can use your mop or you can use the flap, and this is just to solve your lines. So by doing this, you're going to like solve the complete strokes, and then you can decide, like here I want to add a little bit of more like whitish. And I'm going to soft. Okay, this is like a simple, fast way to paint water. Okay, so I'm going to grab a little bit of my white with my little flat brush and a little bit of black. More white. I want a light gray. To this, I want you to touch with the corner of your bristle, the cobalt blue, just to make this bluish grayish. Okay. Okay. So now we're going to be painting the buildings. Okay. So I'm going to move a little bit and start like really just painting rectangles or squares. In the shape of a buildings. And again, don't worry, because remember that we're going to be covering with all these flowers. So you can paint your city. This inspired me when I went to walk to Central Park. I get so super inspired by this area where you can see the buildings in the background, and it was great. Okay, so now I'm going to grab a little bit more of black. And I'm going to make like buildings in front of the buildings. You need to have two colors. Let me see if this is dry already. One is going to be the background. And another one is going to be the front ones. And you can build really your city wherever you want to, how many, like, you know, buildings you want to have in your city. Okay, so I'm going to clean my brush, and now I'm going to grab a little bit of my green. So first I want to grab my darker green, that is my phthalo green. We're going to be using some of, I am adding a cadmium yellow, okay? And again, I want to have more white, but this time white is going to be here, because that white is going to keep going for the blues. So now when I grab my round, my filbert, and to this green, I want to grab a little bit of my cobalt blue, and a little bit of black, because I want to make this an olive color. And to this, I want to grab white, because of the city is like a far away. The colors that we need to be adding in this part need to be like soft. Grab a little bit more black, like more like pastel, soft pastel. There you go. So I'm going to start adding a line. And now with this part of my brush, I'm going to add some like top parts of the trees, and see how I'm moving my brush. I think this part is still Central Park. Okay, to this I want to grab more blue, and I'm going to add with the sideways of my brush this color. to clean my brush. And this yellow is transparent, so I'm not super worried about the color because it's going to go in the top of my, like the canopy of the trees, just to change this green a little bit and to suggest that these trees are super green. With a little amount of yellow, I'm not using too much. Okay, we're going to leave it there. Wait, I'm going to clean this brush. And now I'm going to grab my flat one. Let's see if we can use a big one. And I'm going to grab the white that we have here. And my brush has a little water, so let me add more water. I'm going to grab a little bit of black. Because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to paint all this part. Need to be like a light gray. And yes, I'm covering what I sketched before, but this is something that you need to be doing. It's important to sketch because like that you will know exactly the lines that you're going to be working, but then you need to, like, sometimes, most of the time, you need to cover it. That is normal. Okay, so I'm mixing my white. So while this is drying, we are going to start painting the trunk of the tree. Okay,
For the trunk, I'm going to be using two brushes, the liner and a round number 2.
okay. For this, I'm going to be using black first, and I'm going to have my brown nearby me. So I'm going to put the brown close to the black, but first we're going to be using just the black. So we know that the tree, one of the trees start here, right? I'm going to grab a little bit of water. And I want you to see how I'm like doing this movement. You can even grab a little bit of the brown. And I like to leave some like a strokes lines into the trunk as part of the design. So let me grab more black, and I'm going to add just with the tip. Let me grab more water. with the tip of my brush. Okay, so now I'm going to paint the branches who it can be from this tree or a tree who's besides that is coming down. Okay, so the first one, and you can be combine the brown and the black as you wish. It's very important that here you take your time to paint these branches. If you notice, these branches, when they are in the edge of the canvas, they need to be thicker. A little water. And here we can start using the liner as well. Here you can even go and grab a coffee because I'm going to spend time working the branches. And let's do another big branch, black with brown. And and another one here. I'm going to mix the brushes. When you're using the liner, you need to be very like touch the canvas just with the tip. You don't need to push the brush. It's very important. This is one of the best tips I can give to you. very important to add many branches because we're going to be covering some of them with the flowers, but you want to see some branches in between the holes of the flowers. This I can make it close to the main branch. We need to define better the branches. See, and then this is just the you know, the last part of another branch comes from here. So I want you to play with this. Okay, as soon as you feel, you know, I have enough branches, I'm going to clean this one, because I'm sure I'm going to be using it. And what I'm going to go back is to start using my filbert. But first, this part needs to be dry, so I'm going to be using my hair dryer, okay? I want to grab my filbert, but let me just clean it very well. And I want to grab my purple color. I'm going to have my pink that I'm going to be using, the red, and the purple. The dioxazine purple. Okay, so I'm going to put some in this part. And I'm going to grab a little bit of water, and I'm going to be using the filbert. This is a filbert number 4. And we want to be using the effect that the filbert brush make is very interesting. So we're going to start adding, using some areas, this purple that is going to be the base of our flowers that we're going to be adding with the Q-tip. It's like a process. So I'm using all directions. And now you will see how the branches are going to start, like, I don't want to say disappearing, but you know, we're going to add some flowers. So from winter to spring. And the idea is that you can see here and there some of the branches, some little pieces of the branches. This is going to be like at the back part of the flowers, and this color is going to help the flowers to pop up. The top part, I want to have it like all with this color, and allowing some holes to see the branches. See what I mean? That it's important to add many branches because now you can see how we're covering it. And the buildings are now in the background, and they are just like a suggestion. Okay, almost done with this color. And now we're going to be using our Q-tip. So I have here my Q-tip, and I'm going to add my pink. But we need this dark pink, and for that I'm going to add a little bit of the red. And let me just mix the colors. There you go. We have very very like a fuchsia, a pink fuchsia, beautiful. And I want to use here what I have in my brush. I don't want to waste any paint. Okay, so let's start adding in the top some of this pink. So I want you to move the Q-tip in all directions. We're stamping, but I want to see different circles. So I'm going to add this pink in the top of the purple as much as I can. I don't want to cover the whole purple, but I want more pink, this pink, than the purple. The next pink, I'm going to be using the sponge to give different type of stamping with the colors. So if you see, I am like really like moving the Q-tip all directions. If your Q-tip start falling apart, it's time to change the size or to make a new one. To prepare more of the pink again. This fuchsia is beautiful. And I like to like move like this Q-tips because it gives you different, like the dots are like smaller. Let me make a little more of this pink. So we're going to add red. And pink. And I'm going to flip my Q-tip. Okay. going to use the size of the Q-tip just to add a little more, like little tiny dots here of this color before moving to the next one. Now I need to decide where I want more of this fuchsia red, pink. Okay, so now I'm going to use my sponge and I have it in water, and I'm going to be using just this part with white, but first I want to dry this part. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to mix some of the white again with the pink that we have here. I'm going to grab some white again, and to the pink that we have here, I want to grab all the pink and mix it with this white. And I'm going to grab the sponge, just a little bit of the sponge. I'm going to load my sponge and I'm going to start adding this pink. And see how I move my hand? In some point we want to see the purple really going in the back part of the flowers. So our main color now is this pink, and then we're going to add some white. This part of these flowers need to be very thin. We want like a thin strokes. When you are stamping with the sponge, be careful, do not cover all the branches. We need to see some branches, and if that is the case, don't worry, because at the end you can add again some branches at the end. And also I like to see some areas in the blue of the sky. Okay, so now it's time for the white. So I'm going to clean my brush. And for the white as well, you can use your sponge or you can use your brush. In this case, I want to control more the white, so I'm going to be using my round brush. So again, clear white, sorry, and my round brush. Now some water. We add more white. More water. And now I'm going to start going with like intention, because you know this type of trees, the main flower is white. So now it's very important to take your time and paint the flowers. All this part need to be like very tiny strokes, little dots. And here we can start adding like more big flowers. Here tiny. So the background of the pink and the purple is helping us to define better our flowers. Again, you can be using the sponge again, like this, just for you to see, okay? But if you notice, there is a big difference with the brush than with the sponge. I like both, but for this area I like more my brush. See how beautiful the combination of the color looks? And with the sponge, of course, we're going to go like faster than with your brush. But something that I like to do is when I'm done with the sponge, I'm going to come back and define better some of the flowers. The stamping of the sponge is really nice because it's like a very irregular, you know. Okay, here I want to use my brush. And some of the flowers I'm going to go back and add some of the, like in the middle of the flower, the white one, I'm going to add dark pink, and some of the flowers, not all of them. When I was observing the picture of this tree, I noticed that the main color is more like white and then light pink. So that's the idea, that's what we're doing. We're using all the background that we paint before to add color to our flower. But yes, it's more whitish. With pink, of course. Oops. We're going to go back here. So I like to use both because we're making like a different type of textures. Okay, almost there. And when you feel you add enough white, I recommend you to leave the paint alone and then come back later and to see if you really like the way it looks. You can decide if you want to add more purple in the background or more white. Okay, we're going to leave it alone just to rest my eyes, and we're going to start painting this part. Okay, so for this part I'm going to work with my small flat brush, and I'm going to add to this white that we have here. Let's add more white. A medium gray. I need to have a medium gray here. Okay, a little bit more of water. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint. Need to be a little more darker. Give it different than this background. Here I'm going to be using my two brushes, the round one and the flat one. Okay, so now I want to add a darker color. Like a darker gray in the bottom. And change my brush. And you know, I can even add darker. Okay, so now I'm going to use this light one. Let's see. Clean my brush. Grab some black. white. I'm trying to, and now I'm painting the step. There is like the rail, and there is like a step. I'm going to grab a little white again. And this is like at the background. Where the shadows of the tree is. Okay. And I'm going to wait a little bit this to get dry. And I'm going to use my cream. And a little bit of the brown. More brown. And a little bit of black. Again, pink, green, pink. Tapping, tapping. A little more black. And I am using this size of the bristle because I want to make lines, horizon lines. I want to have here this brown, but with a little bit of the black. Like in between, like it's dirt, but also is going to grab a little bit of the blue. Dirt and grass. Okay, we're going to wait. And while we're waiting, I'm going to have my round, and I'm going to grab a little bit of this green, and I'm going to add some little leaves in this green, with this green here and there. To clean my brush, and I'm going to go back now with my pink magenta, and in the biggest areas where the white is, I'm going to use to grab a little dot, and I want to add in the middle. Look for the biggest white dots. Okay. So I think we can keep working this part. I hope it didn't froze in my side. Thank you for letting me know. So I'm going to be using these two brushes now with black. I'm going to grab a new black, clean black. Okay, so we're going to start by adding the rail all along, and the way to do it is I'm going to grab some black here, And I'm going to start adding some like metal rectangles, something like this. I want to see if I can use this to make it faster. Let's see. And I'm going to flip my canvas to have a straight lines. Okay. Okay, but this is enough because these are going to be like my guides. The first one is going to be taller. This, and then it has a separation in between each one, but then it's straight. And it's aligned, and this need to be super tiny. You need to be careful because this is still wet. And these lines are closer each other and smaller until like dot like this. Okay, so then I'm going to grab a little bit of white to make this dark medium gray, and I'm going to add a line like this. Okay, so now with the same gray you're going to make a straight line. No, wait, I'm thinking. Okay, we are going to grab white and we're going to make this light gray, and we're going to add some circles here. I'm checking the colors, okay? This need to be, this is too white. Okay, let's go back with the black, and I'm going to make a medium gray again, because I want to add a circle in front of the rectangle. And here we're going to do these lines like this. Okay, so now grab more black. We want to have a dark gray, and we're going to add volume to this circle. And with the same black, the same dark gray, we're going to add some shadows, like straight shadows like this. Now we're going to grab black with the water, and we're going to add black shadow besides the dark gray. We need a black. And if you see, I am leaving like a space of a like medium gray. going to grab my liner because I need to make a very thin line now with black. Okay, another one. And this part need to be with a dark gray. We're going to start like a playing with the shadow. And this is like a, I don't know if this is a bench or something that people can sit. I don't remember. It's more like a step. So what I'm doing here is I am painting the shadows of the tree. And we're going to go back and forth, you will see, until it looks like really a step. So I'm going to be using my white, my gray, to create this part of the, like an aisle or part. So this part, the shadows need to be from top to bottom, more like a vertical, to have the effect. And what I'm doing here is adding different tones of gray and white to add the effect of the shadows. This part is the one that is take longer, but then it worked all the time that we invest here. So when you're painting shadows, you're painting the opposite. It's like the negative. So you're not painting actually shadows, you're painting the light. And sometimes we'll go back and forth with the light or with the dark, like for instance here. Some dark areas here that are going to be these shadows. In this part the light is more lighter, your grays are lighter. It's like a transition. And I need to be working very slow this step. I'm going to go back to the black. Here I need to add some extra color, and also I'm going to add a little bit of the white highlight in this circle. Okay, I think I got it here. Straight lines. brush very, very well. I want to clean my liner because I want to add a white line. To prepare my brush with the white. So this is it, guys. This back and forth, so hang on with me. Okay, it's coming. Oh, that's so cool. Yummy. We're going to have a so good dinner today. So here I'm going to go back and forth with the shadows. So my shadows here are black, medium gray, and dark gray. And at the end, you can create your shadows with this light gray-ish, more white, something like this. So let me just rest a little bit this part. I'm gonna work the candle, the lamp. So I'm going to grab black and I'm going to move a little bit, yes. First I'm going to make my line. Then the base. And the little tiny lines. I'm going to do all the rail with my liner. Okay, so first I'm gonna add, the biggest post to be straight, a straight line, and then smaller, okay. To change my brush. And I need to paint it thicker. Okay, go back to the liner. And then with gray, I want to add some of the rails. have this. I want to add some highlights. More white. A little white as well. Okay. Tiny details that at the end it makes sense when you are see the whole. So I'm going to grab my black now, and I'm going to add like a little like circle or ball. I'm going to wait this to get dry, and now when we can make this the big one. Okay. Okay, so just little tiny detail here and there. Some light gray. Too watery, and just to be careful. Just a little highlights with no big definition. Okay, just I wanna correct these lines. And here there are tiny ones. Okay, So again, black, straight black. Okay, so this is dry, and I'm going to go back with the brown. Just to work a little bit some of the branches with my brown and my black. And remember that we have here this yellow. Well, if you grab black and add yellow to the black, we're going to have this green. Very interesting green. Just to have different tones of green is good. I'm going to clean my brush because I want to grab this clean green. And with my liner and my black, I'm going to add some of the branches that we lose. So I'm grabbing some water here with black. And I need to decide which branches I can add or just revisit. Some branches are like hiding behind the flowers, and other ones are like in the top, you know what I mean? And you can use the light areas where the blue is to add these extra branches. Okay, so I think it's almost done. The last thing you can do is with your flat tiny brush, grab a little bit, dry it, clean it and dry it. Need to be super dry. Okay, get a little bit of your white, and add texture to this part of the trunk. It's like a little extra highlight, you know. Okay guys, what do you think? Do we need more? Do we need to add more highlights in the iron part? What do we think is good enough? This part is a tricky part because this area needs to be black. No no dark gray, need to be black. So as much as you need to come back and redo it, yeah, I recommend you to do it. Okay, but I think I'm going to call it. So let me show you my sample besides the one that we did together. Okay, so here's the difference between colors that I want to share with you guys. This has more pink tones and this one has more whitish. Okay, but both has the same technique.
I hope you learned something from me today and like it. Thank you for joining me today and see you next time. Bye bye.